Welcome back to English Uncovered. I'm Peter, and I'm really glad you joined me today. If you feel like you are not making progress with your spoken English, if you feel stuck, or if you understand English in your head, but when you try to speak, it sounds slow or wrong, this episode is made for you. You are not alone. Many beginners feel this way, and it is normal. In this podcast, I will speak slowly and use simple words so you can follow easily. I will give clear steps you can use every day. Stay with me and try the small exercises I ask you to do. This is for English beginners who want simple, practical help to speak better. If you are a beginner, this video is for you. Today, our goal is simple. 5 easy tips to help you speak English better, build your confidence, and get unstuck. I will show you how to learn speaking by listening to real English, how to make your vocabulary automatic so you do not have to think about each word, how to use short groups of words or chunks to speak faster, how to push your comfort zone a little so you gain confidence, and how to choose the right tools and sources to practice. Each tip is short and clear, and you can use it today. I will give examples you can copy, and I will ask you to say sentences out loud with me. These tips are practical and friendly, not complicated exam tricks, and they work for beginners who want real progress. This episode is interactive, so please join me and speak out loud. When I give an example, repeat the sentence 3 times with your voice. If you can, record yourself on your phone and listen to it later. This helps you hear small mistakes and improve. Try to practice a little every day. Even 10 minutes is good. Don't worry about mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Keep your practice simple. Listen to a short sentence, say it out loud, and then change one word. Do small steps and be consistent. If you are nervous, tell yourself a positive sentence like, "I can speak English. I will try." That small thought helps you feel ready. Remember, this podcast is for beginners, so I will use clear, easy language and give examples you can copy right away. Before we begin, one quick request. If you find this episode useful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you are a beginner, tell me in the comments. Write your name and the country you are from, or tell me which of the 5 tips you will try first. Your comment helps me make more episodes just for beginners like you, and it helps other learners find this lesson too. Thank you for being here. Take a deep breath, get ready to speak out loud with me, and let's start with tip 1, learn speaking by listening to real English. Many beginners tell me the same story. They say, "In my head, I know the words in English. I know what I want to say, but when I open my mouth, it feels slow, strange, and difficult." Maybe this has happened to you too. You listen to English videos or songs, and you understand many things, but when it is time to speak, the words do not come out the way you want. This is very common, and you are not alone. Almost every beginner feels this way, and it is normal. In this podcast, I will speak slowly and use simple words so you can follow easily. I will give clear steps you can use every day. Stay with me and try the small exercises I ask you to do. This is for English beginners who want simple, practical help to speak better. If you are a beginner, this video is for you. Today, our goal is simple. 5 easy tips to help you speak English better, build your confidence, and get unstuck. I will show you how to learn speaking by listening to real English, how to make your vocabulary automatic so you do not have to think about each word, how to use short groups of words or chunks to speak faster, how to push your comfort zone a little so you gain confidence, and how to choose the right tools and sources to practice. Each tip is short and clear, and you can use it today. I will give examples you can copy, and I will ask you to say sentences out loud with me. These tips are practical and friendly, not complicated exam tricks, and they work for beginners who want real progress. This episode is interactive, so please join me and speak out loud. When I give an example, repeat the sentence 3 times with your voice. If you can, record yourself on your phone and listen to it later. This helps you hear small mistakes and improve. Try to practice a little every day. Even 10 minutes is good. Don't worry about mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. Keep your practice simple. Listen to a short sentence, say it out loud, and then change one word. Do small steps and be consistent. If you are nervous, tell yourself a positive sentence like, "I can speak English. I will try." That small thought helps you feel ready. Remember, this podcast is for beginners, so I will use clear, easy language and give examples you can copy right away. Before we begin, one quick request. If you find this episode useful, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you are a beginner, tell me in the comments. Write your name and the country you are from, or tell me which of the 5 tips you will try first. Your comment helps me make more episodes just for beginners like you, and it helps other learners find this lesson too. Many beginners tell me the same story. They say, "In my head, I know the words in English. I know what I want to say. But when I open my mouth, it feels slow, strange, and difficult." Maybe this has happened to you too. You listen to English videos or songs, and you understand many things. But when it is time to speak, the words do not come out the way you want. This is very common, and you are not alone. Almost every beginner feels stuck at some point. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine a student who studies English with books every day. He reads grammar rules, he remembers vocabulary lists, and he gets good marks in his writing exercises. But when he tries to speak with a friend, suddenly his mind goes blank. He knows the words, but his tongue feels heavy, and he cannot say them naturally. He feels frustrated and thinks, "Maybe I need more grammar rules. Maybe I need another book." But that is not the real problem. The real problem is this: speaking is different from reading and writing. Writing and grammar are useful, but they do not train your mouth, your ears, and your brain to work together in real time. Speaking is a skill, like driving a car or playing football. You cannot learn it only by reading about it. You need to practice it in a simple, daily way. Here is the key message I want you to remember. You do not need more complicated grammar, more theory, or more big books. You need short, clear, and simple practice every day. When you practice speaking with small steps, listening, repeating, and saying easy sentences, you slowly build fluency. You will not feel stuck forever. You only need to change your practice from theory to action. So if you feel stuck right now, don't be discouraged. This is normal. The important thing is to focus on practice that is clear and simple. In this podcast, I will show you 5 tips that make speaking easier and help you move forward with confidence.
The first and most important tip for beginners is this: learn speaking by listening. Listening is the foundation for speaking, and without it, your progress will always feel slow. Think about how babies learn their first language. They do not start with grammar books or vocabulary lists. They spend months and months just listening to their parents, their family, and the people around them. Only after listening for a long time do they begin to say their first words. Speaking always comes after listening. Many beginners make the mistake of trying to learn speaking only from books. They read long vocabulary lists, they memorize grammar rules, and they even read aloud, thinking this is enough. But reading words on paper is not the same as hearing them in real life. Writing and speaking are two different systems. Reading can help you understand structure, but it does not give you the rhythm, the pronunciation, or the natural flow of English. When you listen to real people, you hear how English is actually used. You hear the sounds, the intonation, and the way words connect together. Imagine this example. A student spends months reading about football. He studies the rules, he memorizes all the positions, and he even looks at pictures of players. But when someone asks him to play football, he cannot do it. Why? Because football is learned by playing, not just by reading. The same is true with English. Speaking is learned by listening and practicing, not only by looking at words in a book. So, what are some easy listening sources for beginners? Today, we are surrounded by English everywhere. YouTube has hundreds of channels with simple English content. Podcasts like this one are perfect because you can listen while walking, cooking, or traveling. English songs are also a great option because music helps you remember words and phrases naturally. Movies and TV shows are another good choice, but if you are a beginner, choose ones with simple language or subtitles in English. The important thing is not the length of the content, but the consistency. Let's do a short guided practice together. I will say a few simple sentences, and I want you to repeat them after me. Ready? I like English. I am learning. I speak English. These are easy, but they are powerful because they train your mouth to move in English. Repeating short, clear sentences every day builds confidence and fluency. Here is the key reinforcement. Beginners should listen every single day, even if it is only 5 or 10 minutes. You do not need hours. What you need is regular practice. If you make listening a habit, you will notice that speaking slowly becomes easier. Your brain and your ears will get used to English, and your mouth will start to follow. So, make listening the foundation of your daily English practice, and you will already be on the right path. The second tip for beginners is to automate your vocabulary. What does the word automate mean?
In very simple English, it means to make something automatic, something you can do without thinking. For example, when you walk, you don't think about moving each foot. It happens automatically. When you drive a car, and you have done it many times, you don't think about every little step. You just drive. That is what we want with English words. We want you to use them automatically, without stopping to think too much. How can you do this? The method is very simple. I call it repeat and change. First, you repeat a sentence you hear. Then, you change one small part of it. This is much better than just memorizing long lists of words because it teaches your brain to use the words in real life. For example, listen. I like apples. Now let's change it. I like bananas. Let's change again. I like oranges. Now we can change the tense. I liked pizza. Or, I will like English. Do you see? By repeating and changing, you make the vocabulary flexible and natural. Let's try a short practice together. I will say a sentence, and you repeat it after me. Then I will give you a word to change. Ready? Sentence. I like coffee. Change the word coffee to tea. I like tea. Now change tea to music. I like music. Good. Now let's change the tense. I liked music. One more. I will like music. Excellent. This is the power of repeat and change. Remember this important message. Vocabulary becomes natural only when you use it again and again. Reading a word one time will not help. Writing it one time will not make it automatic. You need to hear it, repeat it, and change it many times. If you practice like this for 5 minutes every day, your vocabulary will become automatic and speaking will feel easier and faster. The third tip is to speak in chunks. Now, what does the word chunk mean? In simple English, a chunk is just a small group of words that usually go together. When you hear native speakers, they almost never think word by word. Instead, they use ready-made groups of words that they have already learned and practiced thousands of times. For example, when someone says, "How are you?" they are not thinking how plus are plus you. They just say the whole thing like one word. The same is true for "I don't know," or "see you later," or "a cup of coffee." These are chunks, small packages of language that you can use again and again without stress. Why does this help you? Speaking word by word is slow and difficult. You have to stop and think about each word, the grammar, and the order. This makes you nervous, and often you lose confidence. But when you learn chunks, you don't need to think so much. You already know that the group of words is correct, so you just say it. This makes your speaking faster, more natural, and much less stressful. You can spend your energy on the conversation instead of grammar rules. In fact, many native speakers don't remember grammar rules when they talk. They just use chunks automatically. Let's think about an example. Imagine you are in a cafe. You want to order something. If you think word by word, you may stop and worry. I want coffee?
But if you already know the chunk, "Can I have a cup of coffee, please?" then you can say it quickly, politely, and naturally. You don't need to think about grammar or the order of words. You simply use the whole chunk. This is why chunks are so powerful for beginners. Now let's practice together with some common daily chunks. I will say them slowly first, and you can repeat after me. Ready? How are you? I don't know. Can I help you? That's a good idea. See you later. A cup of coffee. These are all very common, and you can use them in many situations. When you repeat them often, they will become natural in your mouth, and you will not need to think. Another example, let's build small conversations with chunks. Imagine someone asks you, "How are you?" You can answer with another chunk, "I'm fine, thank you." Or you can say, "Not too bad." If someone offers you something, you can say, "Yes, please," or "No, thank you." These are not single words. They are little groups of words that carry meaning together. Here is some good advice. Learn phrases, not just single words. For example, if you learn the word coffee, it is useful, but you will stop and think, how can I use it? Coffee, want, order. But if you learn the phrase, a cup of coffee, you can use it immediately. You don't need to add more grammar. Another example, instead of learning the single word idea, learn the phrase, that's a good idea. Instead of just learning the word help, learn the chunk, can you help me please? That way, when you are in real conversations, you don't need to invent sentences on the spot. You already have them ready. Let's do another guided practice. Repeat these chunks after me and try to imagine using them in your daily life. Excuse me. What do you mean? I'm sorry. I don't understand. Could you say that again? These are very helpful for communication, especially when you are learning English. They give you the tools to keep a conversation going, even when you don't know every word. One of the best strategies for beginners is to keep a notebook of chunks. Every time you watch a movie, listen to a podcast, or talk to someone in English, write down the phrases you hear often. Don't just write the single word, write the whole group of words. Then practice them every day, speaking them out loud so they become part of your memory. If you repeat 5 chunks every day for a month, you will already have more than 100 ready-made sentences that you can use naturally in conversations. Finally, remember this. English is not about knowing thousands of words. It is about being able to use the words you already know. Learning chunks helps you do this. It gives you speed, confidence, and fluency. So make it a habit to learn and repeat phrases, not only single words. Over time, you will notice that your speaking becomes smoother, you feel less pressure to translate in your head, and conversations feel more natural. This is the real secret of speaking fluently as a beginner.
The fourth tip is to build confidence. Many beginners know some English words. They study grammar. They listen to podcasts. But when it is time to actually speak, they feel shy, nervous, or even afraid. This is completely normal. Speaking another language is not easy. You're stepping out of what we call your comfort zone. Now, what does comfort zone mean? In simple English, your comfort zone is the place where you feel safe and relaxed because you are not taking risks. For example, if you always stay at home, watch movies in your own language, and only talk with people you already know, you are in your comfort zone. It feels safe, but you don't grow. To learn English, you need to step outside of this comfort zone and try speaking, even when you feel nervous. That is the only way to build real confidence. Confidence does not come from waiting until you are perfect. Confidence comes from action. You need to practice speaking with real people, even if you make mistakes. In fact, mistakes are not bad. Mistakes are signs that you are learning. Think about a child who learns to walk. The child falls many times, but nobody says, "Oh, you are terrible at walking. Stop trying." No, the child keeps trying, and eventually, walking becomes easy and natural. The same is true for English speaking. Every mistake you make is one step closer to fluency. Now, how can you practice building confidence? Let's look at some simple, practical ideas. First, you can record your voice. Take your phone, press record, and talk about your day for 1 minute. Don't worry about mistakes. Don't try to sound perfect. Just talk. After that, listen to the recording. You might feel strange at first, but this exercise helps you hear your own voice in English. It also shows you what you are already doing well and what you can improve. If you do this every day, you will notice that your speaking becomes clearer and more natural. Another simple way is to talk with a friend. Maybe you have a friend who is also learning English. You can agree to spend 5 minutes every day speaking only in English. It does not have to be a long conversation. You can talk about your lunch, your plans, or what happened at school or work. The important thing is not what you say, but the fact that you are practicing speaking out loud with another person. This small habit will grow your confidence quickly. If you don't have a friend to practice with, you can look for a speaking partner online. There are many websites, apps, and communities where learners connect just to practice speaking English together. You don't need to pay for expensive teachers if you cannot afford it. Sometimes just having a language partner who also wants to improve is enough. Remember, confidence comes from doing, not from waiting. Let me also share a very powerful idea. Smile when you speak. Smiling makes you feel relaxed, it makes your voice sound friendlier, and it also shows the other person that you are open and positive. When you smile, your brain sends a message to your body that you are safe, and your nervousness goes down. Try this next time you practice. Now let's do a mini practice together. Imagine I ask you, "What did you do yesterday?" Even if your answer is short, speak it with confidence. For example, "I went to the market," or "I watched a movie." Say it loudly, clearly, and with a smile. You don't need to give a perfect answer. The goal is to sound confident, even with simple sentences. Another exercise is to read short texts out loud. Take a paragraph from a book, a podcast transcript, or even the subtitles from a video. Read it out loud slowly and clearly. This gives your mouth and tongue practice moving in English. It also helps your brain connect speaking and listening. Over time, you will feel more natural speaking English sounds. Remember this very important message. Mistakes are not enemies. Mistakes are teachers. If you are afraid to make mistakes, you will stay silent, and silence will not help you improve. But if you accept mistakes as part of learning, you will speak more often, practice more, and learn faster. Every fluent English speaker today, even native speakers, made mistakes when they were learning. Nobody started perfect. So building confidence is about creating a habit of speaking, even when you feel nervous. Start small. Record your voice. Talk to yourself, practice with a friend, or join an online speaking group. Celebrate every small success, like finishing a sentence, answering a question, or even just saying hello to someone in English. Each small step outside your comfort zone makes your comfort zone bigger, until one day speaking English feels natural. To finish this tip, I want you to remember a simple formula. Practice plus patience equals confidence. The more you practice speaking, the more confident you will become. And the more confident you become, the easier it will be to continue speaking. It is a circle of growth. So do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for perfect grammar. Start now with simple sentences and let your confidence grow step by step. That is how you build confidence in English speaking. The fifth and final tip is to use the right tools. When we say tools, we are not talking about hammers or screwdrivers. In English learning, tools are the things that help you practice and improve. Just like a builder needs the right tools to build a house, you also need the right tools to build your English. If you only use one tool, for example, just reading a grammar book, your progress will be very slow. But if you choose the right mix of tools, your learning will be faster, easier, and much more enjoyable. For beginners, some of the best tools are YouTube videos, simple podcasts, and English learning apps. YouTube is full of short, free lessons where teachers explain English step by step. You can pause, repeat, and practice as many times as you need. Podcasts are also powerful because you can listen anywhere, while walking, cooking, or even riding the bus. And many language apps give you interactive exercises that make practice fun, like little games that help you repeat and remember words. These are tools that make learning less boring and more effective. Another important tool is movies and TV shows. Now, some beginners feel nervous about watching movies in English because they think it's too fast or too difficult. But here is the secret. You don't need to understand everything. Even if you understand just 20% or 30% at first, that is enough. Over time, your brain will start to recognize more words and phrases. The important thing is that you are listening to real English, the way people really use it. That is something you cannot get from textbooks alone. And let's not forget conversations. The best tool is always real practice with real people. If you have the chance to speak English with a friend, a colleague, or even online with a speaking partner, use that opportunity. Real conversation forces you to think quickly, respond naturally, and use the language in a practical way. That is why combining tools is so important. A podcast will train your listening. An app will train your vocabulary. But only conversation will give you the real feeling of using English in daily life. Now, I want to tell you about a tool that can help you immediately. It's called the English Conversation Guide, and it is designed especially for learners who want to practice real conversations. This guide includes more than 100 conversations about daily life situations, things like ordering food, talking about hobbies, going shopping, meeting new people, or even discussing work or school. Each conversation comes with audio, so you can listen and repeat and learn the correct pronunciation. This is a very powerful tool because it gives you not just the words, but the real phrases people actually use. And you don't just read them. You hear them, repeat them, and practice until they become natural. If you are interested, the link will be in the description, and I really recommend you check it out. The most important advice is this: don't depend on just one tool. For example, don't only study grammar books. Don't only watch movies. Don't only use apps. Instead, combine them. Listen to a podcast in the morning, read a short article during the day, and watch a YouTube video at night. Use an app when you have 5 minutes of free time. Then, at least once or twice a week, try to practice speaking with another person. When you combine different tools, you train your brain in many ways: listening, speaking, reading, and remembering. This makes your English much stronger. So the message of this tip is clear. Use the right tools and combine them with real practice. Tools are there to help you, but you must actually use them. A hammer on the table will not build a house, and a language app on your phone will not teach you English unless you open it and practice. Choose tools that are simple, practical, and fun. Make them part of your daily routine. And remember, the most powerful tool is always the one you actually use. If you listen, repeat, practice, and stay consistent, your English will improve step by step. That is the power of using the right tools.
Let's take the last few minutes of this episode to review everything we learned together. We covered 5 powerful tips that can help any beginner move from feeling stuck to speaking English with more confidence. The first tip was to learn speaking by listening. Remember, listening is the foundation. The more you listen to real English through YouTube, podcasts, songs, or movies, the more your brain will naturally absorb patterns and rhythm, making it easier to speak without hesitation. The second tip was to automate your vocabulary. Instead of just memorizing words, you need to repeat and change them so they become automatic. For example, I like apples. I like bananas. I liked pizza. This is how you train your brain to use words naturally, without stopping to think too much. Daily repetition is the key. The third tip was to speak in chunks. A chunk is a group of words that usually go together, like how are you, I don't know, or a cup of coffee. When you learn and practice chunks, you don't have to build every sentence from zero. Speaking becomes faster and smoother, and you feel less pressure. The fourth tip was to build confidence. We talked about the comfort zone and why it's important to step out of it. Practice speaking with people, record your voice, talk with a friend, or find a speaking partner. Remember, mistakes are normal and part of the process. Every mistake is proof that you are trying, and trying is how you improve. And finally, the fifth tip was to use the right tools. Tools are things that make your learning easier. YouTube, podcasts, apps, movies, shows, and especially real conversations. We also mentioned the English Conversation Guide, an ebook with more than 100 daily life conversations that comes with audio to help you practice pronunciation. Tools are powerful only when you actually use them, so use them every day. Now let's do a quick practice together. I will say a simple sentence connected to each tip, and you can repeat it after me. Ready? I listen to English every day. I like pizza. I liked pizza. I don't know. I am learning, and that's okay. I use the right tools for practice. Excellent. Just by repeating these sentences, you are already practicing the 5 tips. Before we close, I want to leave you with this motivational message.
Don't wait for perfect English. If you wait for the perfect time or perfect grammar, you will never start. The secret is to start speaking today, even with simple sentences, even with mistakes. Every word you say is progress. Keep going, keep practicing, and you will see your English grow step by step. As we come to the end of today's episode, let's take a moment for a warm summary. This podcast is designed for beginners in English who want to speak better, feel more confident, and finally move forward without feeling stuck. Every episode is here to give you clear, simple steps that you can follow no matter where you are on your learning journey. Remember, progress in English does not come from one big step. It comes from small, consistent steps every single day. Even 10 minutes of practice can make a big difference over time. So, I want to encourage you. Practice every day, even if it feels small. Listen to English, repeat simple sentences, use chunks, build your confidence, and choose the right tools. Day by day, your English will grow stronger and speaking will feel more natural. Before we say goodbye, here's my clear invitation for you. If you are an English beginner and you want to keep learning with us, make sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share it with a friend who is also learning English. The more we share, the more learners can practice and improve together. And don't forget to leave a comment telling us which tip you will practice today. Thank you so much for listening and spending this time with me. I really enjoy being here with you, guiding you step by step on this journey. Stay positive, keep practicing, and always believe that your English will get better with time. See you next time on English Uncovered.